What is good, everyone, and welcome back to the Nostalgia Plus Ultra podcast. My name is Nostalgia. Joining me is As Told by Zoe. What's good, my guy?
What is up, man?
Not much, man. Welcome back to the pod. Welcome back to the recording. Hope you guys enjoyed the last episode on what makes a protagonist interesting. Today, we have what makes an antagonist interesting. Again, hopefully you guys watched the Neon Neko Sugar Girls video that we did, the reaction video. I didn't check any of the statistics on it or whatever, but I hope you guys enjoyed that. For those that did watch it, we had a good time recording it. We have enough for two more parts, you said, Zoe?
Yeah, I think so.
So yeah, if you want those 2 parts, just let us know. We'd be more than happy to just get those up there and see what y'all think. But I generally enjoyed like the edit of the first one, so yeah, I'm excited for the other 2 if we get around to making them. But yeah, so before we get started, I know, Zoe, you said you had a question you need to ask me.
Yeah.
So
it's not
what
like
is your question?
It's not like a crazy important question. It's just I'm hype for October. I'm hype for Chainsaw Man. I think that's kind of my most hype anime for the rest of the year. And I could have asked you this yesterday, but I just want to ask you this now because it could fill out the time. What the fuck is Power's power?
What is Power's power?
Is it a spoiler?
Not necessarily, but I feel like it would be more beneficial for you to just figure that out when you get to her.
Oh, you need to like figure it out?
Not figure it out, but like I feel like it kind of adds to. Well, does it really add to her character? Because they really don't bring it up that much. Rest of the story.
In the trailer, I just see her jumping off a building, and then she makes a hammer of blood, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
Okay, so this isn't like a huge spoiler that matters in terms of like the overall like arching story on what happens or anything, but Power, because you know about the whole thing of people being devils and stuff, right? Power is a devil.
I figured.
Power is like the blood devil. So like her powers involve like taking her blood and like forming it into certain things.
That's badass. She's a blood bender.
So like literally. So when she like jumps out the window and that's like a hammer made out of her own blood.
That's sick.
Yeah.
Also, what you sent me yesterday.
With what?
I can't have shit in this house.
Oh. Oh yeah, no, Power is a nasty individual. I'm just gonna let you know that right now. People that are gonna be simping for Power on the timeline, I think thinking she's a great character. She's a very interesting character. I think she's very funny. And I think she kind of adds to the ridiculousness of Chainsaw Man. But people generally like being attractive to her is like weird to me. I'm sorry if you feel that way, but that's weird because she is a nasty individual.
I understood it for a second, and then you sent me something, and it pissed me off so bad.
Oh, what did he say? That shit was wild.
Okay, so I sent Taylor, it was like a fan art. It was like a cat licking her leg, and then Power was doing the same thing. And I was like, oh, that's kind of cute and quirky. I get it. And then Taylor sent back, it's canonical. She doesn't wipe. And I said, I can't have shit in this house.
No, the guy said some weird shit, though. He was like...
At least she's fucking bathing.
Yeah, no, that was the cat. The picture. It's a picture of, like, the cat, and then she's, like, doing the same thing the cat's doing. And then Aki and Denji are like, at least she's finally fucking bathing. Which is hilarious, because she's a weirdo, and she's nasty. And so, and then in response to that, I sent a follow-up tweet in that thread that said, she canonically doesn't wipe either. I want to sniff her so bad. First off.
That's so gross.
That's disgusting. People just get on Twitter and say anything.
I'm excited for the show, but
Not that excited.
jeez.
Holy shit. But yeah, I think that's not too much of a spoiler for you. Power is the blood devil, if my memory serves. I'm probably going to end up rereading Chainsaw Man Part 1 just because I want to. I'll probably either confirm that next episode or when we're not recording. So
I'm not even going to ask about Makima's power because I saw a figure.
That's a big spoiler. That's a huge spoiler.
I saw a figurine that looks so sick, but I'm just going to keep it to myself.
If the figurine is depicting what I think it's depicting, that's a huge spoiler. That's a huge spoiler. Like if I was to tell you that, it would ruin like 95% of the story for you.
Okay, I won't ask. I'm just gonna wait till the. Don't even explain. Don't even explain.
No. I'm just saying if it's what I think it is, that's a huge spoiler. Okay, so speaking of characters and stuff like that, we're gonna get into certain antagonists that we think are interesting, and I'm gonna start with you again, Zoe. What do you think? Again, okay, for those that didn't listen to the last episode, we did what makes a protagonist interesting, and basically the whole episode was just us detailing what we as individuals that consume media like anime, video games, TV, other stuff like that, what we consider an interesting character to us, like what characters we are drawn to. So when it comes to protagonists, we had our certain way of thinking about certain things. When it comes to antagonists, we have a different way. So what makes an antagonist interesting to you?
I have a few. I said this before the pod. They're not anime antagonists. Again, I'm watching The Boys. I had just finished watching Breaking Bad. It's kind of the normie thing to say, but like Homelander is actually very well written, and it's like I like the show, and the show obviously has it makes fun of modern day politics, performative activism, internet culture, all that stuff. But what genuinely makes me like the show is just like the main villain is just like is a villain. It's not something you'll find in like regular day, which like makes it less depressing. If the actual products of capitalism, stuff like that. But if that was like the main thing, I think the show would be more depressing. But it's more about like, without spoiling anything, it's just more about like Homelander being mentally ill, but also having Superman's powers.
So they're just giving an unhinged person.
So everything, because he's genuinely scary. Like there are scenes. I'm on season 3, and there are scenes he has with. He had one with Huey. He had one with Starlight, where the actor's phenomenal. Where he just takes over the fucking room, and you're like, holy shit! Like how the fuck are they gonna get around this? But it's also like he's also like Mob in the sense that like we said it last week how Mob is in the middle of this whole fucking psychic fight, but he just wants to like hang out and be a kid.
Yeah.
Like this guy's evil. It's not that he has any redeeming qualities, but like at the same time, it's like he just wants to be loved. If he doesn't have love, then he'll like explode and like go the fuck off. He needs to be loved by. If it's not his audience, it has to be someone that's enabling him and telling him like you're the best and you're this. Like he's kind of a little kid. He throws tantrums when he doesn't have what he has. Wow. I think the rest of the heroes who are villains are also interesting because they're not. It's not a group of Homelanders. It's like the main scary one is Homelander, and then there's the CEO of Vought. He's just that one is just capitalism money first. And then
Yeah.
there's A-Train, who he's like kind of an asshole, but he's not like a villain. He was just on drugs. Maeve isn't really a villain. She's just a product of the situation she was put in.
Right.
The Deep is a irredeemable for what he did in season 1. But
Oh
again,
my God.
but again, he's not a villain. He's just a dickhead, and he likes fame, and he's like super insecure, and he's a follower.
Yeah.
Like whatever Homelander tells him, he's like, yes sir. Like he's just
Yeah.
a follower.
I don't think the Deep is a villain, and I think it was crazy. I already knew what kind of time. I think they did a really good job of establishing what kind of time he was going to be on from the get-go. When like Starlight first became a superhero, and like she first meets the Deep for the first time, and like that scene in general, like when she like turns around and he's like there, I was like, oh yeah, this finna be a wild ride.
Yeah. Yeah, and then fucking dude, in season 2, they make it more prominent that he's just a follower. Like he joins this Church of the Collective. And then there's a hero that helped him out. And the head of the church is asking him, "Oh, what do you think of Eagle?" And he's like, "Oh, he's my friend, he's my brother, he helped me out." But Eagle escapes the church and is talking shit about the church. So the head of the church is like, I think he's a toxic personality. And then immediately Deep is like, oh yeah, fuck that guy. I hate him. And it's played off like comedically because, again, he's not a villain. He's just a dickhead.
Yeah.
Like the main
That's
villain
funny.
is Homelander. And that's kind of why I like the show more.
Yeah. Okay. That's pretty. I do enjoy Homelander. I think you honestly can't get enough of him, especially because he's on Twitter. Like those 2 clips surface every fucking. Like, no matter where you're at, you're gonna scroll. You're gonna see the 2.
All right.
Those 2. You're gonna see those 2 clips every time, or 3 of them. It's like him in the theater. It's like people clapping around him, and then it's the one where he's like walking. He's like having
like
the
that.
mental breakdown.
He's like, fuck. He's crying for a second. He's like,
exactly. For me, I guess I like to be more. I don't know, write things down a little bit differently than you do. So mine is, when it comes to interesting antagonists, they either have to be very intelligent and calculating or just a straight up menace. There's no in between for me. It's like if I'm drawn to a character, it's got to be like you had this whole thing planned out from the beginning, and you like have a certain plan, you execute it, and you're very intelligent about said plan. Or you are just evil for the sake of being evil, and you're really good at being evil. You know what I'm saying? So, like, when it comes to, like, anime, because I took more of an anime approach to this question, surprisingly enough, like, the big 3 have developed 3 of my favorite villains for shonen.
they're the big
and,
3 for a reason.
True, but, like, it's just, like, one of those things where I watch, like, a lot more anime than just the big 3 or shonen.
Sure.
And there are 3 of them. 3 of the villains are 3 of my main favorites. Like Madara, Aizen, and Doflamingo are 3 of my favorite villains ever. Doflamingo and Aizen are pretty close up there, like as far as number 1. And like, it was funny. Like, I didn't really talk about One Piece too much in last episode with Luffy, but I kind of want to do a little bit different. If Moody, you're for listening to this, I apologize. But for Doflamingo, right, he kind of falls in both categories. So, like, he has, like, a plan of... I feel like it's kind of a spoiler, because you're going to... I don't know if you're ever going to even get around to watching One Piece at all, but...
It's 1,000 episodes long. I'll get there someday. It doesn't matter. I don't care.
Basically, like, there's, like, a certain level of royalty within the world of One Piece, and Doflamingo is part of that royalty, but I think his father did some shit to where... he wanted to be more in tune with just regular people, and Doflamingo wasn't really about that as a child, so he became like a menace. And so, basically, with his powers, he basically manipulated an entire city, entire kingdom, into thinking like their king was like a villainous murderer. But like his power, like his devil fruit power, is the ability to like create strings, so he can manipulate people like a puppet, essentially. So he just basically manipulated an entire kingdom into thinking their king was like mercilessly slaughtering everybody. Doflamingo comes in to like save the people, and now like he's overrunning it, and he's become like this big warlord of the sea. So like in that regard, he's calculating, but also that man is just evil. Like he's the straight just like black Air Force energy type. Like he just does not care. He like will mercilessly kill people, but he does it in a very like cold and calculating way. And I think it's kind of where he falls into both. My favorite villain though, like one of my favorite villains that's not in Shonen, is Friend from 20th Century Boys. It's a manga. I
remember you were talking about this for a while.
Raving. Like I think 20th Century Boys might be one of my favorite stories ever, just manga. And Friend might be one of like the best like villains I've ever seen. And it's not even the situation where like he himself is like some kind of crazy catalyst for everything. It's just the fact that you really do not like figure out who he is until almost like 4 chapters from it ending. And he's had such an influence on the world. Like every time a main character talks to like some regular one-off character, you always have to have in the back of your mind that they could be a follower of Friend. So like every time you like watch something or you see something on screen you flip the pages and you like watch these main characters go through and talk to these people and get this plan together about how they're going to take Friend down, it's always some random character that they talked to a few chapters earlier that's a follower of Friend that they think, oh, he might be on our side, but he's really not. Like it's just the crazy thing, like how he was able to manipulate almost like the entire country, basically the entire world into being in this cult. And it's like, I don't know, it's just super cool. Like if you haven't read it, for those that are listening, if you haven't read 20th Century Boys, I would appreciate you guys checking that out. And I think his design too is super. It's just super, like, I don't know, eerie and creepy to me. Because like he just has like all he does is he has the mask on with the little symbol for the Friend cult, and then he just wears like a suit, like a 3-piece suit, and that's it. And he stands like the most awkward individual ever. Are you looking him up?
No, I'm looking up someone that I just thought of, and it's a little curveball, but continue.
Yeah, so like that's basically him. I think when it comes to like evil, just straight up evil characters, I gotta go with Dio from JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Yeah, he's just straight.
He's just straight evil. Like
do not bring that boy around any dogs.
That's what I'm saying, bro. He's just evil. Like there's no real. I mean, obviously there's a plan that he has in place, but it's really just deep-seated hatred for one family.
This man is named Friend. This man looks nothing close to a friend.
Bro, okay, but his backstory and how he became Friend is also pretty. Like when you take 20th Century Boys.
He runs a cult, doesn't he? He looks like a cult leader.
Yeah, it's basically the Friend cult. It's a big cult that basically takes over the entire world. So, okay, for you and then those that don't know about 20th Century Boys, basically there's a group of childhood friends in Japan. And the leader, I guess, of this friend group, his name's Kenji. I think his name's Kenji. Yeah, his name's Kenji. Basically, Kenji wants to become a hero one day, essentially. As like, a little kid, you think of imagination. So him and his friends create this story or this like plan for what kind of villain they would fight as a hero and what he would do to the world, to take over the world or whatever. Like, you just make up a villain
I
in your
remember
mind.
you explaining this to me.
So basically, they create this huge plan, this like crazy plan that spans over the course of like several years, and what this villain would end up doing to the people, and how he would manipulate people, and how he would like come to power. And it would be up to Kenji and his friends to defeat him. The key now is that one of the friends in that group, because they don't really, they show you a little bit of the group and like gradually expand who was in that group as the story continues. The key now is one of the people in that group, one of the little kids in that group, actually went through with the plan. actually went through with the plan.
And you don't know who it is.
And you do not know who it is. So basically the key now of the story is trying to figure out who Friend is and stop him before he essentially just basically murders everybody in the world. Jeez. And it's, I don't know, it's super cool how they set up the story and certain things that they do within the story to kind of give Friend this larger than life persona, even though he really like is rarely on, I guess I say on screen, but he rarely shows up in the story until like later on. Like he shows up in like a big part of like a climax of like Act 1, I guess, of the story.
Mm-hmm.
In Act 1 of the story, he shows up with the climax, and then he really does not make that many appearances at all until like towards the very end. You know what I'm saying? And it's crazy how like they can keep him relevant and like such a scary presence for that long in the story without him really being there all the time. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, I don't know. I just went on 20th century. This was not supposed to be a 20th Century Boys episode. This was supposed to be an Antagonist episode. But
I have a really good antagonist. He falls into the straight menace category.
Yeah.
And I guarantee a bunch of people, you won't guess who I'm thinking of. People listening won't guess who I'm thinking of. But once I say it, it's going to be like, oh, shit.
Okay. Who is
the
it?
antagonist I'm thinking of, Judge Claude Frollo from The Hunchback of Notre Dame.
Oh, yeah.
That man is
my God.
menace.
He's the fucking worst.
Dude, he is so horny that he's like, I can't have her. I'm going to burn the city down.
Oh, bruh.
He was incels before incels.
Yeah, nah, that's crazy.
I'm reading this right now. One of the directors of the movie described him as a horrible, horrible person, while the voice actor compared him to Hannibal Lecter.
Oh, my God. Yeah, nah, he was really just evil for the sake of being evil.
He manipulated Quasimodo, being like, you ugly as fuck, boy, stay up there in the clock tower. And then was racist to Esmeralda, but low-key was like, I'm trying to get at Shotty. Then when she rejects him, he goes, I'm going scorched earth.
I'm going scorched earth? He really tried the break him down to build him up method, which never works, by the way.
And in Kingdom Hearts Dream Drop Distance, he did all that with the help of Heartlesses.
Yeah, that nigga was a menace, bro. Holy shit.
He's also a religious, like, fanatic, like, almost cult-like, you know?
Oh, yeah. It's the Catholic Church, isn't it?
Yeah, he's portrayed in the film as a ruthless, self-righteous, short-tempered, and fanatically religious French minister of justice.
Yeah. Crazy.
He views the world and everyone in it, except for himself, as corrupt and sinful, even though he's trying to pipe before marriage.
Yeah.
That's his whole thing. He's a good villain.
He's good. He's very good. Like, he comes on screen, you just do not like him. You know what's funny? You said the scorched earth thing. You know what made me think of?
What's up?
Dracula from Castlevania.
Oh my God.
He's a great villain.
Bro, episode 1, immediately, you're like, oh, he means business.
He does not care. What's crazy, though, is he's a villain, but he's also justified in his villainy. Yeah. Low key, if we're being honest. He's justified. I think it's just one of those things where, you know, his love interest was healing people with herbs and regular medicine that you would find somewhere in nature.
And
you know
the church,
the church thought she was a witch, and they burned her at the stake. And then he was like, "I'm murdering everybody." That's crazy.
So the moral of this episode is the best villain on earth is actually the Catholic Church.
Oh my God, that's like the byline for this episode. What makes an antagonist interesting? Side note, it's the Catholic Church.
Are there any other
So
church-like villains?
I don't know. Not really. I did have a couple that I wanted to talk about. 'Cause I know I mentioned certain villains. I know people are going to be like, "Oh, what about?" Well, I mentioned it for Big Three. I mentioned Madara, but I know people like it's a kind of a toss-up on what antagonists people generally like across Naruto, and I'm more partial to Madara than I am to Pain. But I do like
Is
Pain.
Madara he has the gray kimono and he has the big fan?
Yes, it's Madara Uchiha. Yes.
Okay.
So Pain is the member of the Akatsuki that
Yeah.
ends up.
Yeah, I know who Pain is.
Yeah, so the reason why I don't like Pain as much is while I do like enjoy him being on screen, I enjoy that situation. I think certain characters where I think I don't know, it's like hard to explain. Basically, like I think Madara's plan and how he kind of went through it, and just the fact that he was just this all-powerful being is crazy. And honestly, I feel like if there wouldn't really be a Pain without Madara, if my knowledge of Naruto works, I think there wouldn't be a Pain without Madara. So, like Madara, Pain and what he meant to the message of Naruto, I guess, with his old adage of like the world needs to understand like pain in order to be able to connect with other people, right? That's basically his message to the world. Although the method in which he carries it out isn't the best, I guess I'll say it like that.
Sure.
Isn't the best. With Madara, you could just see just the overall plan. Like this man literally went into, because obviously you're not really going to watch Naruto because I could just talk about this like this. Like,
Yeah,
so
I don't care.
He basically went into these like Uchiha clan like tombs with this stone tablet that basically just explained how like the infinite Tsukiyomi works and how, or like basically like an infinite slumber technique works, and how the Sharingan works. Right, this man legitimately changed the wording on the stone tablets to then make the Uchiha family kill each other. Oh wait,
Shit.
was this Madara or was it somebody else? I think
Uh-oh.
no. I have it wrong. No, I have this wrong. Somebody else did that. But I think but after Madara like sees the stone tablets, he goes and he basically concocts this plan, albeit like not the best plan, to just like get all these tailed beasts together, be the Jinchuriki of the 10-tailed beasts, and then force people into an infinite slumber where there's no harm done to people. Everybody's at peace. The only problem is nobody has free will. So it's like, do you really want to
Sure.
do that, basically? But I just think, I don't know. And he's just one of the most powerful ninja of all time in the universe of Naruto. So like when that fight scene with like Madara versus X number of ninja when he comes back, because what you got to think, they've been hinting at him at his appearance since like chapter 5 or episode like 5 or 6 of Naruto. He doesn't show up until I guess it was like chapter 400 something, or like episode whatever. Like he got mentioned in regular Naruto, doesn't show up until like 75% of the way into Naruto Shippuden. So like they've been building him up, and he just comes on screen for one of the first times and just
doesn't
wrecks
show up
everybody.
till Shippuden?
Yeah,
Wow, holy shit.
yeah. They've been building him up for a lot. Like they were building him up since the beginning, and so then and obviously you gotta think like he's. I'm getting into a lot of like Naruto lore, so
Sure.
it's kind of like a lot of my storylines and knowledge are running together. But basically, he's at the point when he shows up in Shippuden, he's dead, but Kabuto invokes this like forbidden jutsu to reanimate all of these former great ninja, and Madara was one of them that he reanimates.
Oh, hell no.
and so obviously, as a Madara, he gets reanimated at the peak of his ability, and just comes through and wrecks everybody. And it's like one of the most iconic scenes in Naruto, which is him just like fucking everybody up. And so, like in that regard, I think I think he's more interesting to me than I am like drawn to Pain or whatever. And there's one villain I want to talk about, and it might be getting to spoiler territory, but did you think Junko Enoshima from Danganronpa was an interesting villain?
I think she's not interesting until the Danganronpa 2 anime came out. Because in
oh yeah
in Danganronpa 1 there is like a lot of subtext, but you just kind of like she just pops out of nowhere and is like, oh, the person who actually died wasn't me. That was someone that I worked with, and this and that. And it's kind of like, okay, but like, in a game where you're supposed to solve mysteries, how are we supposed to solve that? And then Danganronpa 2 comes out, which I think is better written, because I like that class more than the OGs.
Yeah.
And then the anime comes out, which kind of shows how...
that like separate season. Yeah.
Yes, which shows how Junko got that class to go crazy, and how she, her relationship with... I forgot her name, but the girl who dressed up as her and then died. Her like right-hand man.
Oh, yeah. Yes. Yeah.
Her relationship with her.
What is her name?
And how fucked up she is. That,
yeah.
Like, she gets interesting there.
Yeah.
So it's like kind of a slow burn for her, even though I love Danganronpa. It's great.
Yeah, we're big Danganronpa fans over here.
It's great. It's just, as a villain, she's not interesting until you know everything. Which I know for some people, that's kind of a lot of work to do.
Yeah, like play the first game or watch the first season, then watch or play season 2, and then watch the
that's the thing.
Prequel season.
To kind of get the whole thing, you have to play the second game, because there's no anime version of the second game.
True, I forgot. There's no anime second game. Basically, it's the first game, which is season 1, and then season 2 is a prequel to the first game.
Yeah, so you have to play the second game sometime.
Which is crazy, because the prequel to the second game has all of the characters from the prequel to the first game has the characters from the second game. Yes, from the second game. So like, I feel bad for people that really got to go through that. My thing with Junko though is that she was interesting, kind of like how you said, until the third game, until the ending of the third game. I thought she was interesting. After the ending of the third game, it just destroys everything I had built as far as my interest in Junko.
We have to hash this out in a separate episode.
We really do.
They leave the ending open.
Do they?
Yes. Because before who I thought was my favorite girl in that game, I forgot her name, but she fucked me over. She ended up being the villain. She says something before she dies. She says something like being a copycat. So
yeah.
So it's kind of left open ended as like, yes, this for V3 you are in a reality show, but this reality show is based off of true events that they did also in the show. It's convoluted Japanese story writing.
They never said it was based off true events. They basically said the entire thing from Danganronpa 1. Okay, sorry. Spoilers for Danganronpa, the entire story.
Yeah.
Spoilers for Danganronpa. If you do not want to be spoiled, please skip ahead a couple minutes. They basically said that from Danganronpa 1 all the way to Danganronpa 3 was entirely fake. They said that. They said the entire thing was fake.
The three students who made it out alive, they specifically show, God, I can't believe I'm forgetting these people's names. The guy you play as, the detective.
Yes.
He says, literally, he goes, "Didn't you hear what she said? She said copycat." So maybe it was true. And the creator of Danganronpa has basically said, yes, I left it open-ended in case I want to come back.
Oh boy, I don't know.
I'm gonna
Like, the way
agree.
they kind of.
V3 is not the best in terms of payoff. I think it has cool ideas.
Yeah, like I feel like the payoff was like because like I think at that point because you're supposed to again spoilers again if you're still listening and you haven't played it or watched it I feel sorry for you because at that point you kind of on the assumption that Junko's dead, that they killed her.
No, I think that is true because how many years in the future this one takes place?
Yeah. I don't know. I just think they say Junko's dead, and then I don't know. Like they have this weird thing, and they basically like explained that from Danganronpa 1, like even the prequels, Danganronpa like they implied even the season where like they're showing how Junko came into power. Even that was fake. It was like a reality show, and I was like, what? I don't know. It was just kind of annoying. So
the way I took it with what the protagonist says at the end was Danganronpa 1, 2, and the seasons happened. But they came back from Junko taking over the world and to not freak out anymore, kind of like a purge. They have this to keep people's minds at ease and shit like that. That's what I got from the whole copycat. And it's like, maybe Junko did exist and shit like that. But we got to get back to the topic. This is a different episode.
Yes. Sorry. Yeah. So yeah, I think as far as that goes, I just think by the Junko, for me at least, was interesting, and then by the end of it, end of Danganronpa 3, I think it kind of like destroyed my foundation of having an interest for it because they said it was whatever. But okay. We're definitely gonna do like a whole Danganronpa episode.
She is a menace, though.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Like
just evil for the sake of being evil.
Like for most of game 1, you're kind of like, okay, murder mystery, kind of cool, pink blood. It's not that crazy, and then they explain what like her cult did, and they like chopped her limbs off and attached it to themselves. And some of them had sex with her corpse, and you're like, holy shit.
Oh my god. What was the guy's name? That was just like the fanatic. That had his like he had his hand. His hand was who hit his hand was Junko's.
Yeah. Bro,
Start with an end.
Every girl's favorite character in that game.
Was it Nagi?
Yeah. Nagito. I'm almost positive it's Nagito.
It's Nagito, isn't it?
On Steam, this game has a 10 out of 10. It's a good game.
It's a good game. A little convoluted, and some of the side quests are boring, but it's a good game.
What Japanese game isn't convoluted? Let's be honest.
That's true.
Nagito.
It was Nagito.
Nagito Komaeda, voiced by Bryce Papenbrook. Very good voice actor.
And if my memory serves, it was the wrong hand.
Yeah, it was like backwards.
He had like 2 left hands. Or some shit like that.
It was crazy.
Crazy.
Bro, this game had Bryce Papenbrook and Johnny Young Bosch. This game's voice cast is amazing.
Who did Johnny play?
Hajime.
It was Hajime. Yeah. The goat.
Oh my god, and Kira Buckland was Hiyoko. She's
a good
Jolene.
Cast. Oh yeah. She had a good cast. That was a good cast. Wow.
Yeah, that game's fucking sick.
It was great. As far as I guess other video game antagonists go, do you have any others?
Okay. You're gonna want to strap in for this one.
Oh Lord. Here we go.
I'm about to get started. Everyone always brings him up as like a good villain because he has like a cool design and he's kind of a menace. But if you actually play Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth, his whole lore is crazy. He's fucking sick. He was Gaia's hero. He was the number 1 soldier first class. He was the man. If there was a problem, he stepped in to fix shit.
Yeah.
And then there's this whole flashback. I don't. Do you care if I spoil the entire thing?
I mean, I'm not too deep into Final Fantasy lore, so you're good to go.
There's a flashback that Cloud has in the middle of the game, and then you find out later that it wasn't really Cloud. It was actually Zack. Cloud was there, but he was one of the lackeys. He's like a soldier 3rd class, I think. And then Zack is the guy that has the Buster Sword and then gives it to Cloud, and then there's this whole thing. But during that flashback, Zack and Sephiroth are called in to fix some shit. These are the boys. These are the guys who fix everything. And Cloud is there to just be extra backup. And once they get to the mountain where they need to fix the shit, you see the kind of the main, it's kind of a MacGuffin, kind of a character. It's called Genova, and it's what soldiers are injected with. Soldiers are injected with Genova cells to make them what they are, to make Sephiroth what he was, to make Zack and Cloud what they are.
Mm-hmm.
But Sephiroth was like the first of its kind. Like, the way he was born was the main scientist, Hojo, who's fucked up, he's crazy in the head, impregnates another scientist who, that's another story, was Vincent, was his wife, and then she was so invested in science that she was like, I'm sorry, I can't be your wife anymore, I gotta mother this child, and this and that. It was crazy. But when she was pregnant with Sephiroth, she was injected with the soldier, with the Genova cells. That grew Sephiroth so advanced that she ends up dying, giving birth to him, and then he's like, from a child, he's raised to be what he is. But when he finds this out, because Genova is basically like telling him, he like loses his mind, and he's like, he basically kind of turns into Homelander, and he's like, why am I saving these people? I am the best that this world has to offer. And then everyone is like, holy shit, what the fuck? Fucking Cloud stabs him, and he comes back. Like, he just
can't die.
Yeah. And when you're playing the original Final Fantasy VII, kind of like Madara, he's kind of like hinted at, but he's not shown to like the middle of the game.
Yeah.
You know, people are hinting at him, Sephiroth is so strong, Sephiroth's this. There's a swamp in the game that you can't pass unless you do certain story things.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason you can't pass it is because a giant serpent will come, and it's like at a level 50, and it will one-shot your party because it's kind of early in the game. You're like, I want to say when you see it, you're like at a level 10, maybe.
Yeah.
But when you finish the story beats and you go back to the swamp, the serpent is impaled in a giant tree.
Oh.
And then people are like, what? And someone says, that was Sephiroth.
That's hard.
Fucking, wabak!
That's hard. That's hard.
It's like, before even seeing this motherfucker, you're scared as shit already.
Yeah.
And another reason why he's kind of scary, every time you see him in the game, it's not him. What they are, there are failed soldier experiments. There were people that were injected with the Genova cells, but they couldn't handle it. So they're dying of Mako radiation.
Yeah.
But he's like the big dog, so he sends out, he like, what's it called when you're like, you have like an out of body experience?
Oh, like not like astral projection, does he?
He basically astral projects himself onto these dying men. So you know the whole thing. You know, everyone knows Sephiroth kills Aerith.
Yes.
That's
that
not
wasn't
really him. That's one
that
of
did
these
that.
dying men
God dang.
that he astral projects on, and he like that's how scary he is. He's up
That's
in the north.
crazy.
He's in the fucking crater. He's doing his own thing.
That's crazy.
He's an insane villain.
Wow. Yeah. Honestly, if you have your own theme, you're a good villain.
Yeah, and he goes so crazy. He wants to destroy the world so much that he kind of wins until the end.
Yeah.
He kills Aerith, which is what he was trying to do, and he summons Meteor. The meteor is literally this close to touching Earth. The only reason he won is because as he killed Aerith, Aerith also summoned Holy. So
Yeah.
the ending, you're Cloud. You're supposed to be Cloud, who I think is also I should have talked about him. He is an interesting protagonist because he's not actually the chosen one. He's just some rando who decided to step up. I'm not the stepfather. I'm the father who stepped up. So the ending, it's like all these people who you played as, they're powerless to do anything because they're watching half angel man fight dead, deceased, ancient woman, and they're just looking at it and they're like, "What the fuck can we do?" Nothing.
Crazy.
They can't do anything.
Literally nothing.
It's great. Final Fantasy VII, great game. If you haven't played the original, I don't care if I don't like turn-based. It made me like turn-based games.
Well, they also have the new version.
I played the new version with the fast forwarding and stuff like that. It did make it easier.
Yeah, and the fight's a little bit more fun to me.
Oh, you mean remake?
Yeah, the remake.
No, but it's not a remake. It's Final Fantasy VII remake. It's because they're remaking the storyline. It's a different timeline. Because
you meet
more of a
Sephiroth way
sequel.
earlier.
It's
You
more
meet
of a sequel.
Yeah,
Because
you meet
the thing
Sephiroth
is-
way earlier, right?
Yes, and during the game, Sephiroth and Aerith say shit, and then everyone's like, "What do you mean by that?" And they're like, "Oh, never mind," because it's like they know what happened already. It's like Aerith is trying to win better because the way they win in the original, it's kind of like not really, but they do. And then obviously Sephiroth loses, so Sephiroth is trying to win, and Aerith is like, "Let me stay alive this time."
I feel like they're still gonna incorporate her death in there. There's no way they can't.
If they
that.
don't, no, they have to.
They have to.
They have to because for people who haven't played the original and for somehow don't know, they have to be like, "Oh."
Right. There's
And
no
I don't
way.
think if Tifa dies, I don't think it's the same. Because Tifa's just the hot girl.
Yeah.
She's a good character. I like her. She's very like cool and shit. But like,
She can go in the side character episode.
yeah, because the reason why Aerith is so fucking important is because she's an ancient and she's the only one who could summon Holy and save the Earth. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I got you.
She's more important than Cloud.
Honestly, that's funny.
Yeah, I went on a long tangent there.
that's fine. Who else? I know you got any. I know you got some thoughts about Xehanort being. Did he fall on the same like scope of Sephiroth in terms of characters like that, or no?
I mean, again, I am the biggest one of the biggest fans of Kingdom Hearts, but this is why this gives me precedent to shit on it when I can. Because the thing is, Xehanort, I think Xehanort falls under the very calculated category.
He does.
He's not really that crazy. Like, he didn't do anything crazy where I'm like. But I don't know. I guess the reason why I like Sephiroth more is that Xehanort's just a little bit more ridiculous because that's the vibe of Kingdom Hearts.
Mm-hmm.
You know, fucking the reveal of Xigbar being Norded. He's like, I'm already half Xehanort. I'm like, what?
Norded is hilarious.
Yeah, bro. Basically, Organization 13 are all Horcruxes, basically.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I've played Kingdom Hearts. I remember that. Like, where literally everybody could turn into Xehanort at any point in time.
Yeah.
Which,
And
I
then,
mean,
like, when he gets old, he needs to find a new body, so he takes over Terra because he's young, and he's got to keep... And then he brings his young version forward in time. Like, he's just very calculated, but to the point where it's just a little ridiculous sometimes.
yeah, he definitely gives me like I guess when I was first playing Kingdom Hearts and all that kind of stuff and first learning about Xehanort and stuff, he definitely gave me like a Voldemort type vibe.
Oh, definitely.
The difference between like him and Voldemort is like they explicitly say like, oh, Xehanort this, Xehanort that, make sure you watch out for Xehanort, whatever. In Harry Potter, it's like, you know you're an evil dude when people can't even mention your name.
Yeah.
Like, he who must not be named might be one of the hardest things I've
That's
ever
so
heard
sick.
in media ever. He who must not be named is so dope. Like, that's how you know you're an evil dude.
The boy who lived, come
Right.
to die.
Yeah, and I think his
Avada-kedavra!
I hate you. I hate you. His design is also freaky. Just no nose.
Yeah, why
Just-
doesn't he have a nose?
I
I'm a
don't
pretty big
remember.
Harry Potter fan, but I don't know why. Because it
I
looks
don't
sick.
remember. Yeah, no nose, just vibes. Like, I don't understand. I don't know why he doesn't have a nose. I feel like, Holly or Jazz, because they read a lot of Harry Potter. If you guys are listening to this, let me know. Let me know. But yeah, I think he's super interesting too in the world of Harry Potter because any villain that is unable to be named by regular people should have some kind of merit to him.
Okay. You know what? He kind of, like you said, Xehanort gives you Voldemort vibes. They are pretty similar, but I don't understand how like Voldemort just isn't ridiculous. He's not as campy. Even though
Nah.
he lives on the back of some fucking guy's head, like he just comes back. Well, I am Tom Riddle, and he just keeps coming back and coming back. But he's more sinister than Xehanort.
Yeah, like with Xehanort, you're like, oh, well, my guy, he's evil. Like, I can't believe he's doing this. But you don't really get the same feeling when he pops up on screen as you would with Voldemort and even Sephiroth too. Like they show up and you're like, holy shit. Like,
Yeah, when Xehanort pops up, it's more like, all right, Sora, do your thing.
Yes.
When Voldemort pops up, you're like, holy shit, the school is destroyed.
It's over. Yes. That's basically what it is. Honestly, he shows up and you're like, shit's hitting the fan.
Yeah.
I guess going back to video games, and it wouldn't be a video if I didn't talk about Destiny. I think the darkness and how they kind of set that up now with Destiny getting more towards the end of its life cycle and end of its storyline, being like having us seen the dark, like not necessarily seen the darkness, but like seeing who's the guy that's basically running it, or just the entity that's running it, and how they kind of play into everything in terms of lore and just the story that you've been on so far as like a guardian playing. Because basically they kind of introduce you to the darkness very, very, very early in the game, like super early. They explain like, oh, we gotta fight back against enemies of the darkness and this, that, and the third, whatever. And every time you die, it says darkness consumes you, or some shit like that. That was in Destiny 1. They changed, I think, the death's title to Your Light Fades Away. And I think it was probably a better choice for them to do this. Basically, like, they had this thing where every villain that you fight, whether it be the Vex, the Vex, and, like, the Hive, and sometimes the Fallen, I think, were all influenced by the darkness, essentially. Since the creation of Destiny 2 and since lore has been a little more accessible in that area, they've tweaked it to now where it's like the Vex and the Hive are the two main entities that kind of worship the darkness. The Fallen have their own little thing going on. Same thing with the Cabal. But I just kind of enjoy how much they've like influenced everything in terms of how you like the enemies you come across, because like now they've gotten to the point now where certain entities from different people you meet get influenced by the darkness. Even this most recent like expansion with the Witch Queen, which is basically like the High Princess Savathun, which she's a great character too, because basically she's had a hand in some of the stuff that's gone on since like the second expansion of D2. It's like crazy because like, obviously you're not really going to play it, so I can kind of talk about it a little bit. But basically, what expansion was it? I can't remember what season it was, but basically it was the one where you basically talk to this warlock Osiris, right? And it's basically like he's this warlock who was banished from the tower, from the last city, from the Vanguard, and he basically spends most of his time exploring the Vex and basically exploring, because the Vex are these weird entities that basically he's exploring this timeline of Vex and making sure they don't do anything to alter any timelines to make sure they win, basically. He's basically like trying to prevent that from happening. Apparently, that wasn't him we were talking to for the entire expansion. That wasn't him we were talking to. For the entire expansion, we were talking to this Witch Queen Savathun, who basically took over Osiris's body and was learning about everything in terms of like the light, the traveler, all that stuff from us.
Oh shit.
During that entire expansion. So you see like how like crazy how deep the lore gets, which one thing I love about Destiny. But
yeah.
So basically like that happens, and then like she takes over like this other person and like has an influence in another like key figure in Destiny, who ends up killing one of our like a main character in the Vanguard before we end up like getting our get back or whatever and killing him. But she had a plan in that. And then what's crazy is when you have like an expansion that's based on her, like the Witch Queen, like you're trying to kill her. It comes out that she was influenced by the darkness and did not even know it.
Oh shit.
So when we like go through her story and we figure out like how she came to power, what she ended up doing, we learn that this entity called the Witness, basically he's in control of the darkness. Like when you talk about the darkness, you think of the Witness. He basically tricked Savathun into literally manipulating all of the events up until this point of the story. So it's super layered. You see how crazy that is? It's super layered. So like I think like the darkness and the Witness are like two super dope, like very interesting entities in just video games and like storytelling. So I think thunder is super loud in my crib. Like my room is like shaking. But yeah, so that's basically what I for Destiny. I know it wouldn't be a video if I didn't mention that.
I have, because now you reminded me. I'm throwing my hat in the ring of bad villains.
Oh yes.
I think we've talked about it on the pod before. Marvel's becoming a little much, and it's taking a toll on, obviously, their CGI artists, and I think it's taking a toll on their writers as well. Because at the beginning of the pandemic, WandaVision comes out. And I genuinely like WandaVision. I think it's a great premise. It's got a lot of cool artistic like tricks here and there, and it has like weird scary shorts. It's like, okay, this is cool. And then this whole episode is spoilers for anything.
We just put a big spoiler warning before we put it out.
It turns out at the end, like, Wanda is doing all this out of sadness. She's so sad that she stole a whole city to create her own little paradise. That's cool. And I recently saw Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness.
Yes.
Cool ideas, I guess, in it. I can see Sam Raimi's style in a bunch of stuff. Like, there's a lot of cool camera tricks and and there's like the spirits of the damned come out, and they're all like zombies. It's sick. It's really cool. But the writing is so bad. Not only is it riddled with, he's right behind me, isn't he? Type writing.
Yeah.
But like at the end of WandaVision, Wanda is studying the Darkhold. And the Darkhold is it's a book. Whoever reads it, their darkest dreams come out, and like they basically turn evil.
Mm-hmm.
And so the main antagonist of Doctor Strange is Wanda. And she's trying to do all this stuff, and she has a really cool scene where she fucking murks the Illuminati. Like, have you seen it?
Mm-mm. But I think I saw the clip of what's her name getting just destroyed. What is her name?
She cuts Captain Carter in half.
Yes.
With her
shield,
sword.
yes.
I mean, with her shield.
Yes, I saw that part.
She crushes Black Bolt's skull. She takes away his mouth. That's like, if he talks, he fucking destroys things.
Yeah.
Takes away his mouth. Then literally you see his skull fucking crack. His eyes get bloodshot, and the blood comes out of his nose. It's sick. She turns Mr. Fantastic into spaghetti. after asking, she asks him, "Do your children have a mother?" And he says yes. And she goes, "Good, there's someone left to raise them." Then just fucking murks him.
That's cold. That's cold.
And then in that universe, they have a black Captain Marvel, and she just brings a statue onto her, and she fucking gets crushed. She fucking and in like the mind, she fucking rips Professor X's head in half. It's not, she doesn't break his neck. If you do it frame by frame, his head is getting like separated. It's cool. But then at the end, she's doing all this under the Darkhold. But then at the end, her whole thing is she wants to go to a different dimension where her kids are real and become their mother. The Darkhold is just supposed to be evil. Just evil. Straight up menace. She's supposed to be a menace.
Yes.
She goes to the dimension to take her kids, and obviously her kids are like, no, we have a mom in this dimension, and that's our mom. And when she sees that, she backs down. She's still possessed by the Darkhold. What would have made the whole thing better is if somehow they exorcise her, because it's a fucking Sam Raimi movie. He loves the paranormal. Let there be an exorcist, and then they kill the Darkhold spirit or something. No. Still possessed by the Darkhold, she sees that, and she's like, what have I done? And then it's like... It's so cringy. Like, dude, you have black hands. Like, you can see that she's getting corrupted.
Yeah.
How did that just change your mind? You killed so many people.
Like, she went on a murder spree.
I was like, dude, what? It's not even that, like, Doctor Strange was like, don't do this. He didn't do anything.
Yeah. That's crazy.
Again, dude, he, like, possesses a zombie version of himself, and he's, like, a zombie Doctor Strange. It's badass. The writing is so fucking bad in that movie. It makes the villain just so boring.
Yeah. I feel like that would have been, oh man, that would have been so much better. Like, if they just, like, find a way to have this big battle between Wanda and Doctor Strange.
The thing is, like, they kind of do.
To end the movie, but...
They kind of do. Like, they're fighting for a little bit, but the resolution was America Chavez, she's introduced in this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, also, I just love, like, when she punches holes into different dimensions, they're in the shape of stars. Like, it's campy, but it's cool because it's a comic book movie. And what she does is she finally controls it, obviously, and then she's like, I'm going to give you what you want. And then she fucking punches a hole into the dimension with the kids, and then that's when they meet. And it's like, this is a Doctor Strange movie, not an America Chavez movie.
Yeah.
They were already on a big altar. So, like, find a way to tie her down because Wong is there too. You know, he can help.
Yeah.
Somehow tie her down, and Doctor Strange as a zombie with a cape made of the souls of the damned, because that's literally what happens. Do some crazy fucking exorcise this beast. That would have been sick.
It would have made the villain way more interesting.
Yeah, because then the villain would have been the Darkhold, actually, and it would have made sense why she was such a menace, and then it would have made Wanda more interesting because she's like, oh, I need to, like, heal myself and get rid of all these emotions. But no, she's still possessed, and she's like, oh, I'm gonna... It was annoying. It was annoying.
Oh, boy. that's crazy. But yeah, that's kind of tough. I'll say, because you don't really get like the resolution of having like a character get their comeuppance, I guess, or seeing the villain like have the payoff of getting defeated. You know what I'm saying? It's more so just like, that's kind of...
Dude, she turns around and then she's gonna destroy the altar that she's at, and then she looks at Doctor Strange and America Chavez. She's like, run. I'll hold them back. And it's like, why now? Why now? What changed?
Oh, man. Yeah, because you don't really get to see the resolution, really. Like, a good resolution.
And then it's like implored that she destroys the Darkhold in every universe. So it's like, did she kill herself? Because she's still possessed. Like, you don't know what happens.
Oh, man, that's rough. I'll still probably go watch it, but that's rough.
It's got a lot of cool ideas and, like, cool visuals until this one scene where you could really tell the CGI is really bad.
Oh, boy. Oh, man. I will say, though, we're probably going to get our next Thanos when it comes to Marvel when Secret Wars and the Kang Dynasty comes out. Brother. I'm so excited for that.
Did you ever watch Loki?
I need to. I'm probably going to, once I get done with my sports anime binge, I'm going to go watch Loki.
I genuinely enjoy Loki. I think a little bit more than WandaVision because it's a little bit more ridiculous. And when I'm watching comic book movies, I want it to go campy, you know?
Yeah.
But, bro, the actor they got for Kang is perfect too. Jonathan Majors.
Yes.
He's going to be sick. He's a straight menace.
Yeah. I
don't give a fuck about his backstory. Make him kill people.
That's what bro, I hope so. I hope he just comes through and wrecks. That's what I really want. Because it's kind of the same thing with, well, not the same thing, but Thanos was definitely like an interesting villain.
Yeah. Because he had like a
plan.
He had a plan where he genuinely thought he was the good guy.
Yeah.
Which I find when villains think they're doing a good thing, when villains think they're helping out, I find that very interesting because it's like, what's your mind? What's your thought?
What are you thinking about?
This? Yeah.
Yeah. And then his entrance, like when his I always laugh. The fight with him and Hulk, it's one of the funniest.
He made Hulk a bitch.
He made Hulk a hoe. He
turned Hulk into a nerd.
Oh my God, he turned Hulk into a family man. I'm fucking screaming. Like, the funniest thing, in the moment though, I was like, dang, like, this is real. This is like real. And then when I think back at the clip, when I watch the clip and I'll think back about it, old buddy was like, oh, let him have his fun. Because you start out thinking like, oh, like, Hulk holding his own, like, I think the Avengers might have like a tough time, but they're going to win or whatever. That man got his hits in, and then it was a done deal after that.
Bro, he made Hulk have tantrums. When Bruce Banner was like, yo, come on, come out. And he goes, no.
Yeah, nah. He's
like, holy shit.
Like, you know how much, you know how bad you got to be somebody to scare the Hulk? That man is just the embodiment of chaos and Black Air Force energy. You make him scared. It's a done deal. Oh my God.
He literally turned Hulk into an influencer.
Oh shit. That's funny.
But but Kang, That man doesn't give a fuck. That leaked clip with Ant-Man where he's like, I'm an Avenger. And he's like, have I killed you yet? Yo, because he's been to so many fucking dimensions. Holy shit.
Yeah, no, I'm super excited for that. I think he's going to be crazy. I really hope he catches bodies. Because, like, it wouldn't really be him. It wouldn't be Kang if he didn't catch bodies. That's all I'm saying.
They're definitely not gonna kill Spider-Man. I think Tom Holland.
He's too marketable.
He's too. Which, you know, I have my qualms with Marvel, but Spider-Man's too likable. But he's got to kill somebody.
Yeah,
somebody big.
He's gonna kill Ant-Man.
He might.
I think that clip is before he ends up dying. Moments before disaster.
It would be sick if he killed someone big. Like if Bruce Banner just fucking bites it. Or if he fucking kills Thor.
I don't know. Okay, that would be crazy. I think it's a situation where the Hulk dying, for me, wouldn't be as crazy to me. Because if you watch...
They can't write the Hulk, Bren.
They can't write him. They don't know how to write him. They write him, like, obviously... turning him into like a hoe and like scaring the Hulk after the Thanos fight, that's fine, right? That makes sense. But now you have to have the situation where the Hulk is more comfortable getting out of his own body now and like actually wanting to fight. You see the She-Hulk like clip where he's teaching her how to be the Hulk. He still looks like the fucking influencer with the glasses.
Professor Hulk, yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of annoying. So like if Bruce Banner was to actually get killed by Kang, like I really wouldn't do anything for me or probably any other person in the audience.
When I was a bigger Marvel fan, I'm not gonna say I'm a full hater. I genuinely am. I grew up with the comics, so I'm excited when they announce stuff, and I'm like, wow, they're doing Secret Wars. That's sick.
Mm-hmm.
But when it was like cool to be a Marvel fan, since day one I hated the first Avengers movie. Because of the Hulk. I hate the scene where he goes, that's my secret, I'm always mad. What do you mean? How'd you come up with that? Where? You landed somewhere else with some random guy, because that's, you know, he stands up and there's some like random homeless man near him. And now you're just always mad? What the fuck does that mean? I hate that movie. I also hate... I don't like Captain America's fucking suit in that movie, but that's neither here nor there. It's just they can't write the fucking Hulk.
Yeah, they can't. Do they ever have... I don't know if I ever watched it. Do they have a standalone movie for the Hulk?
Yeah, but that was... One, it was Ed Norton as the Hulk. Two, that was when Marvel was still under Paramount. The first two Iron Man movies are Paramount Pictures.
I didn't realize that.
And the Hulk. And then Disney. Yeah. And I think Captain America 1 is 2. So they were still doing the universe. And then Disney bought them out. And then that's why it succeeded.
Hot take. They should have kept the Ed Norton Hulk. Because I saw some clips. And I remember watching that movie. He was fucking people up.
Yeah, but the thing is, Ed Norton is supposedly really hard to work with. And he just didn't want to come back.
That's fine. Yeah, that makes sense.
Mark Ruffalo is kind of like America's sweetheart. Like, everyone likes that guy.
We're getting on a protagonist now. We're almost at the end of the episode anyway. I don't care.
We're actually we're talking more about celebrities now.
I know. But I think how Mark Ruffalo looks as it relates to who Bruce Banner is doesn't work for me.
Is it because he's too goofy?
He just looks like too nice of a person to be the Hulk.
Yeah.
Which could work if they were to write him better, where it was like he's like a very like unassuming nice guy, but gets pissed off and becomes the Hulk. That would be great. But since they don't know how to write him the right way, it becomes a weird thing for me where now like Mark Ruffalo doesn't look like the person that would get mad as Bruce Banner and turn into the Hulk, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
That's basically it.
Yeah. So hopefully, I don't know what the fuck Marvel does.
Yeah.
Hopefully they calm down, but it looks like they're not calming down for another 5 years.
Yeah, I don't know what they're gonna. They're just gonna just keep pumping them out. If people are going to keep watching and liking the movies, they're going to keep pumping them out.
See, we've been talking about the worst villain of them all. Marvel's capitalistic schemes.
Yes. So in terms of overall worst antagonists, it's the Catholic Church, capitalism, and Marvel Studios. That's where we've landed so far. Holy shit. Oh boy. All right, well, kind of went through this one kind of fast too. It was an hour 15 already.
I know. We had a lot to talk about.
I know, it's crazy. But yeah, if you enjoyed, anyone you want to shoot your shot at anybody again? Yes, no? Before I
Not
do
today.
this outro? Not to do this outro?
Not today.
I'll make sure we're good. Yeah, follow us on socials at Andre Alonso 17, at Nostalgia Plus Ultra on Instagram, at Nost Plus Ultra on Twitter. Shout out to Animalytical and the Shogo High Collective. Shout out to Black Anime Podcast. Shout out to Anime After Dark on Twitter Spaces. Shout out to everybody that's a mutual of mine on Twitter that's been fucking with the podcast and fucking with me on Twitter. I appreciate every single one of y'all. Y'all are super dope. So yeah.
Wait. You got any music recs?
Oh shit!
Because I have one big one that I've been listening to for the past week. If anybody likes vaporwave or new age funk music, you need to listen to Macross 82-99. He is phenomenal, like vaporwave funk DJ. He has 3 mixtapes that he's known for that they're called Sailor Wave, and they all have Sailor Moon on the cover.
That's cool.
But my favorite album by him is A Million Miles Away, which like this is the album cover. I don't know if you can see that.
I can kind of see it. That's dope.
Please, whatever. Fuck it.
It's not gonna focus.
Yeah, dude. It's really funny because his whole aesthetic is like Japan and anime, and like he has like songs called Night in Tokyo, or most of the Sailor Wave names on the first one are all in Japanese.
Yeah.
But he's Mexican.
Oh my god.
He's just a big weeb, but he makes phenomenal funk music.
Yeah.
So yeah, listen to any of the Sailor Wave albums or A Million Miles Away because they're phenomenal.
Awesome. So that's been all for today. I've been Nostalgia. I was told by Zoe. We'll see you guys next time. Peace.